Hello, everyone who are joining recently. We'll be starting soon. We are waiting for some audiences to join us. There was a good amount of response in the form. Welcome to today's session of Living the Dream from Nepal to Meta, where we bring you inspiring stories of Nepalese professionals who have made their mark in the world's leading tech giants. I'm Darshan Lamichhane, the club secretary at Kathmandu University Computer Club, and I'll be the host for this session. I'd like to begin with introduction of the speaker. Today we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Santosh KC, who is currently working as research scientist at Meta. With a rich experience in leading teams and developing products using advanced techniques in machine learning, text mining, opinion spam detection, sentiment analysis, and natural language processing. He has made a significant impact in the tech world. His contribution have been recognized with multiple awards for academic and research excellence. Without any further ado, I'd like to begin the conversation. First of all, Santosh sir, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you. To start off, can you tell a bit about your journey? It would be great if you could start with your undergraduate days as a computer engineering student at Kathmandu University, and then take us through the path that led you to become a research scientist at Meta. I'd like to hand over the stage to Santosh sir.
Thank you, Darshan, and thank you everyone for having me. I'm Santosh, working on integrity at Meta. Uh, so, yeah, my journey, I think I was, I think, I don't know, for some odd reason, I always wanted to do computer science from my early ages. That's why I joined a physics group during my high school. And then I started my computer science like undergrad at Kathmandu University back in 2008. Uh, I think it was probably a very memorable time. I still. Oh, are you guys? Can you guys not listen to me? Is it sound okay? Or
Yeah, you are audible to me.
see,
Is that the case for everyone else?
I think there's some message on the thread that
Audible for me
Mira's.
too.
Oh, okay. I guess I can continue then, right? Yeah, so yeah, I spent 4 beautiful years in Dulikil. I was in the boys' hostel. I had a lot of fun, and yeah, I think academically it was a good experience too. Got a lot of exposure with California University Computer Club, multiple events through it, and also like beyond that. Uh, and then I worked in Nepal for around 2 years while I was still preparing for my um, graduate studies. Um, and then I came to the US in 2014. First, I started my master's, but I dropped my master's after a semester to start my PhD in University of Houston. Uh, And then while I was doing my PhD, I also got a chance to be an intern at Meta uh, back in 2018. And I got a return offer. They usually, like in the tech world, they tell a return offer is basically if you are an intern, then before the end of your internship, they will tell you if they want to come back or not. It could be for another internship or it could be for a full-time job, depending on how far you are from your graduation. So yeah, and I was lucky to get the written offer at Facebook, uh, and then I graduated um, at the end of that year, 2018, and started my job in January of 2019, and I've been here since. And I guess I don't know anything else now. So yeah, that's my I would say like summary of my short journey. But happy to answer any questions that you may have. Also, yeah, and I guess this is going to be more like a discussion, right, than a seminar. So yeah, please feel free to jump with any questions that you have.
Yeah, we have kept the format to keep it more interactive with the help of the form we circulated. There are many questions asked by the audience. First, I'd like to delve deeper into the journey. How difficult was it to land an internship at Meta?
I think, to be honest, I sort of regret I didn't apply earlier. And the reason is not just for Meta, for all the tech world around here, the internship process is pretty standard. Like there are there is a certain format of questions around data structure and algorithms that we need to like you can prepare for it and you can do it. Most of the people can do it. It's not like a very difficult thing, but you need to put a lot of time on it. Um, so and I think for me, I sort of started preparing around probably like the last year of my PhD. But and my only regret is I should have done that earlier. Because if you put time, probably 2 or 3 months, like and do it rigorously, then I think anyone can do it. And that's what I did. Prepared a lot of data structure and algorithms. I had, and then I was able to intern at multiple other companies. I failed everyone else, and I only got one offer. And I guess that's what matters, right? You don't need to like you don't need to have all the offers. As long as you have one, that should work. And that's what I think that's now I know a lot of people who are in the tech world, and I think it's the same thing for them too. So like they sort of take 2 or 3 months to prepare, apply to multiple companies, and then it's like a preparation as well, like and then you apply to Google, Amazon, Facebook, and Microsoft everywhere, and then land at least one job, and I think that's how it works because the process itself is not ideal. It's standard but not ideal. There's a lot of randomness to it, so that's why sometimes there's also luck involved to it. But it's I would say it's not impossible.
Also, if I could ask, why did you drop out of your master's degree in your first semester?
Oh, no, the reason was solely to pursue my PhD, and I think dropout probably may not be the right word. It's just that I would say extension because all my courses, they sort of I was able to transfer that to my PhD credit.
I'd like to get back to the Meta part a little bit. What unique skills or qualities does Meta look for in its research scientists or engineers?
I think no, no, I think it's pretty much same for all the big tech. So this may not be like very particular to one company, but rather quite like, it can be generalized across the tech world here, and that is um, this look for talents because like the technology it changes over time. Like when I started like language models were not even there here. We barely had transformer, which wasn't used in person at all. Uh, but now the technology has changed, and the technology will continue to change. If we go by for other disciplines like biology or physics, they have a long history. There's like, and that's why things like they don't change that much in those areas. But computer science, it's like there's massive change every like in a few years. Uh, so that's why I think all these technology companies, what they are trying to do is recruit the talent, and that's why their interview process is quite generic with data structure and algorithms. That's by design. Um, and I think Talent is everywhere. It's in KU, it's in Nepal, it's here, it's everywhere. So I think I would probably want to encourage everyone that uh, uh, like generally talent is important. And then once you join the company, I think what is more important is how fast you can adapt, how fast you can learn new things, and then solve the real business problems. I think those are probably the few things you might need once you are able to land the job.
You mentioned a thing that you regret not applying to an internship earlier in your career. And looking back, is there anything else you wish you had done differently in your career?
Uh, yeah, I think yeah, internship is definitely one, and then and then I think another thing could be probably doing if you and I think this is what I felt now is if you want to pursue PhD or if you have a goal, a certain goal, I think it's better to start early. I think for me and especially people of my generation, we usually started our PhD applications or master applications or abroad plan after we completed our undergrad, and that's that's not a norm here in the US. Everything starts like way earlier. Like now, usually the jobs you get a job offer a year earlier. You get to get graduate admission. Like you usually need to apply 8 9 months earlier, even before you graduate. So that, and I think that was a probably I would say a cultural thing that we didn't get to know of, and I wish I wouldn't, because like reflecting back, I did enjoy working in Nepal, but I'm not sure if that helped me long term for my career.
I'd like to get back to your role at Meta. Could you share some insights about the project you have worked at Meta and what has been the most exciting or challenging project so far? Or if you could share some insights on ongoing projects.
Yeah, I don't think I have the liberty to tell the details of my projects, but I can just tell some high level ideas. So my org works on integrity, and that is solving different type of bad contents that are harmful to the society. It could be hate speech, misinformation, or just a gambling ad, or a porn ad that you may see on your Facebook or Instagram. So, uh, and then as you know, there are like millions of such bad contents every day. So it's impossible to solve that by just like recruiting the human reviewers to read those contents. So that's why we need to build scalable machine learning solutions, and that's my main role. And I think I've been able to work on you know misinformation in the past, like misinformation around different elections in the world, like Indian election, US election, and other elections around the globe. And then these days I'm focusing more on the ads. So how can we ensure we don't get paid for bad ads? Like for example, like Facebook wants to maximize revenue, but it doesn't want to increase revenue by showing porn ads to people. So how can we solve that? So that's the current project that I'm working on.
So, moving from the present to the future, where do you see the field of AI and data science heading in the next 5 to 10 years in Meta or in the tech industry in general as a whole? What emerging trends or technologies should we be paying attention to?
Um, I think the field has, I would say, matured a lot compared to like a few years back. And the reason why I say matured is now AI is not just for computer science. AI is beyond computer science. Like it's in biology, it's in physics, it's in chemistry for different protein structures. Uh, so I think expansion is one, I would say, thing I would say would accelerate a lot in the next few years. Uh, and then the core technology hasn't changed a lot since I would say after Transformer, because all the language models that you see these days are still based on the Transformers that the paper was published in 2017. So um, the applications have changed. Um, so probably there could be another breakthrough on the AI architecture itself. Uh, and then I think a lot of these days, and all the big companies are also investing on AGI, and I think that could be the next big thing. But so far, things are still, I would say, in a very research phase, and even from the research perspective, we haven't landed anything yet. Uh, I would say probably those could be the few things.
Now, moving on to landing a job again at Meta, what advice would you like to give to young Nepali students or professionals who aspire to work in tech giants like Meta?
So, and I think let me give you a very aggressive timeline and plan, which I think may not work, but for most of the people, but which may work if you're really ambitious. And the timeline is in your third year, you like, and then and I'm assuming you want to come to the States and land a job in big tech. Um, So I think one aggressive and ambitious plan would be you do your GRE and TOEFL when you are in your third year, uh, and then you start applying like right after that for different universities and colleges. It could be for a master's, it could be for your PhD, and right after you are done with your undergrad, uh, you and like or before even you are done with your undergrad, you are able to get a visa for the US and an admission. Let's say that is around like in August of let's say this is 2024, like August of 2025. And then and then you come to the States for your master's or PhD. But on day one, like I mean, like on August 1st, to for the next 2 months, you prepare the for the interviews, uh, because all the applications for summer internship start on August 1st. And then by December, almost all internships are like probably 90% of the internships are gone. So that's the window you need to tap in if you really want to get internship. And then I hope you're lucky and you get an internship by December. I would say probably in spring semester you'll relax, and then in summer you'll do the internship, and then you get a written offer. And if you are a master's student, then if you are lucky to get the written offer, then you can start your job after a year. Or if you're a PhD, you can do multiple more rounds of this internship in different companies, and then you can decide what works best for you or which company works best for you, and then take it from there. Like there are so many, I would say, ifs and locks involved here. but that could be one aggressive timeline. But there could be and then you can make it flexible depending on where you are, what you think is good for you, because like, again, like all these things I said may not be ideal for for all of us. And it wasn't for me too. That's not the path I took as well. So just wanted to didn't want to discourage that. It's impossible if you don't do that. And but I just wanted to share the most aggressive plan just in case if someone wants to take it.
You briefly mentioned AGI earlier. We have received a question regarding AGI in the circulated form. What are the key technical and ethical challenges that researchers face in advancing from current LLM capabilities towards AGI?
Well, disclaimer, I don't know a lot about it. I don't know much because these days I'm not working on AGI, and so I'm not an expert here. But at least from what I know, I think that the key challenge itself is the technology. Can we even solve it? Because so far all our technologies are based on, hey, you have a large pile of data, and then how can you make use of the data to learn a pattern or to learn uh, something about the data so that you can predict better. Like before LLM with simple logistic regression or decision tree, it was the same concept. With LLM, the optimization function is slightly different, but the core idea is still you need a lot of data. And then based on what you see, you can learn, the model can learn better. But with AGI, I think that's not going to solve AGI. That's why how can we even solve this technically first? I think that's the key challenge. And then once you solve it, then what are the different implications on like in humanity? How can we make it safe? And all those things will be, I think, triggered. But so far, we haven't even cracked the technology.
We also have received a fundamental question regarding research. Um, why is it worth pursuing research? How can Nepalese students give valuable research work in global markets? If there are examples of such work, inform about it.
I think the first thing is very personal, uh, and I think there's no right or wrong thing about it. Like doing PhD doesn't mean that you will, do great on tech. I have a lot of friends who only have bachelors and they are doing much better than me or other like PhD counterparts. So it's a personal choice. Uh, for me, I think I wanted to pursue my PhD because I wanted to get more time to learn more, and then I felt that if I join the industry, I may not have that liberty. Again, which could be different for each people because there are people who could work more in the industry and try to learn more, or who could. It all depends on how you manage your time too. So I think this is personal. On making a choice on PhD. But the second aspect is probably more important. If you join the PhD or if you join the research, how can you like excel towards it, or and then how can we introduce Nepal, or I think that still has been challenging. Individually, I think there are a lot of people from Nepal who are doing pretty good in research, in big tech, in academics. But I still think that uh, uh, we probably may not have done a lot of work related to Nepal, um, most likely because of the logistic challenges. Um, uh, but in the meantime, I think there right now people are trying to build different networks within Nepali group to help each other. And I think there are such networks that you could leverage if you decide to join a PhD. And also, another thing that I want to highlight here is uh, what I've found from my experience is Nepali people are really helpful, and I think they will help, like will help each other basically. Um, because even for my internship, I was able to get referral to all the big tech, like probably most of the big tech companies from fellow Nepali seniors in those companies. And then for a job or for research and others, I think people are usually helpful.
We also have received another question regarding your field of expertise and combining that with the Nepali startup ecosystem. What kind of startup can be done in Nepal in the field of artificial intelligence, natural language processing, and computer vision?
Well, again, I have not done any startup, so I may not even qualify for that question. Um, but I still think that I think probably I can extend to the idea that I mentioned earlier is expanding AI beyond computer science. I think there will be a lot of startups around that in the next couple of years, not just in Nepal, but everywhere around the globe. Like for, uh, for example, one of my teammate from Meta, he has started a startup to predict the protein structure. Like this is a purely protein related like the work, yeah. And then they are actually able to get probably like I think millions of dollars in funds recently. So I think the expansion of the field probably there will be I think a lot of ideas that could work there. Uh, uh, yeah, for for the like in a core computer technology itself, I think how can you localize all these ideas? Because a lot of these things will still need to be localized in the local market, like for example, Nepal. Uh, and I think one example is Patal and Toodle, because like we have Uber in most of the countries, but probably they may not work that well in Nepal. So how do you make localize the brands or the technologies that are abroad? I think that could be another area.
We have received another question relating to this. How can we create employment opportunities for others and generate revenue from international market as an artificial intelligence student?
Yeah, again, I've never done. I would say I've never generated income myself, so I'm not sure if I qualify for this again. But no, but one thing is that people are still looking for talents for AI. Um, that's one, and second is I think right now people don't care much about the location. And I think this changed a lot after COVID too. Now I think I've heard that people from US, Australia, or the Europe are hiring aggressively. People from Nepal. I think that's a good thing for Nepali community. Uh, Probably, I think that could be another opportunity where we could produce more better like manpower or AI experts. Um, and I think this is where probably small countries like Nepal can excel, so that we can build a reputation around good AI experts to help um, any problem around the world.
We have also received another question regarding the layoffs ongoing and in the past as well. how to be able to compete in a Mang environment, MAANG.
I think I think that's the crux, or it's a course of working in the big tech, and not just in big tech. I think the work culture in the US is very different than what we have been used to back in Nepal. Because everyone, most, I would say probably 90% of the jobs here are at will jobs. Uh, so what it means is you can leave the company like at your will. Like if you want to leave it like right now, you can do it. In the meantime, the company can fire you at will too. In the US, I know the rules are not like this even in Europe, where they had where you can fire people. But that's I would say that's how the rules are in the US. So, um, and then the layoff, it was quite significant recently, and around like last year, but it has always been a thing in the US companies, not just big tech, pharma or medical or other areas. Like the companies they usually fire if they are not like making enough money. Uh, so like it doesn't even need to be when they are in loss. If they are not making enough profit or projected profit, then they might fire. So I think it's yeah, it's the norm here in the US. Yeah, which again, it's unfortunate, but I think it also has its own pros and cons. And also, people who are laid off doesn't mean it doesn't mean that they are laid off because of their quality. That's not the case. They are laid off usually most of like the mass layoffs that you see is from just because of the business regions, which is not under your control.
I'd like to also request the audience members present here to put any questions you have in the chat box of this meeting. And we have also received another question regarding the roadmap to follow for an artificial intelligence professional working at a tech company like Meta.
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
Roadmap for artificial intelligence professional working at a company like Meta.
By roadmap, do you mean the plan we do every quarter, every half, or every year, or do you mean like a plan for yourself? Can you please elaborate that?
We received in the form, but I think he meant the roadmap one should personally follow to get into the tech giant, in particularly as an artificial intelligence enthusiast.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much similar to what I said earlier. Like, if you want to pursue PhD, I think getting good quality research papers in top conference, as well as making sure I think you can land an internship. I think that's probably the key. And then how you can prepare for internship is again the algorithms and data structures. So by the way, the interview format is pretty generic for a PhD and non-PhD as well. So it's all data structure and algorithms for everyone. And it's not just for internship, even for the jobs, most of the interviews will be around data structure and algorithms. Uh, so I think that's probably the main key. Other than that, I think how well you can do there, and then there will be some behavioral questions rounds too. And then I think those are probably just to explain who you are. Uh, I would say those are the two main things.
So do we have any other questions from the audience members present here? Okay, here is one from Susan Adhikari. Do grades matter? Are research papers for application to PhD directly from undergraduate level? What are the things that matter?
Yeah, I think there's not uh, there's not an objective where you could or you where you could have a formula. But for PhD overall, I think research is probably the most important thing. So if you have any research papers, doesn't need to be top tier conference. If you can publish out anything while you are an undergrad, then that will give you a big boost. Uh, and then if your grades are not good, then that might help with your application. Like usually, like I would say, research papers or experience probably research experience is probably the first. I think most important thing. But a lot of people in Nepal don't have that. I didn't have that. Uh, so having good grades helps in that case. Uh, and then the way you can put your story. I think that is very important. That's why I think they ask for statement of purpose or SOP in your application. So how you can articulate your story and why is research important to you. I think that's important too. Uh, um, and um, and then usually like usually people start PhD directly from undergrad, and I think that's a good idea. Like if you want to pursue PhD, it's better to start earlier than later.
We have received another question in the chat box. Um, as a student here in KU, what kind of projects can we work on which can add up to our portfolio related to machine learning and artificial intelligence?
Um, I think, uh, to be honest, I think a lot of things may have changed in terms of the way you guys do your projects. When I was an undergrad in KU, we used to have I think 3 or 4 projects, uh, like and then we used to have, we were asked to present them, and then we were graded based on the quality of the project and the presentation. Is there still something that continue has been continuing, or is it different now?
You mean the semester projects?
Yeah,
Yeah, they are still continuing.
I see. So then I think you can probably use those as an opportunity to do some research projects. Uh, the research, and I think easily when you're an undergrad, you may have very, very limited exposure to what even you can do as part of the research. So I think it's important to talk to professors at the KU. And usually the way it works is professors have their own areas or own ideas. Uh, Unless you know a lot about research and you have your own ideas, then I think that's fine. But usually the way research works is like even for a PhD, it's something similar. Like you tap into professor for the first couple of projects, and then you learn from them, and then I think at that point probably you can uh, once you have more exposure, then you can decide or you can learn, you can formulate your own projects. So I would suggest collaborate with your professors to even like help them with small projects first, and then try to get more experience and then formulate big projects. Um, and a lot of projects could be around. I think these days a lot of papers are around using the language models to solve the problems. It could be the a spam problem, or it could be uh, you know um, Nepali text, Nepali language modeling, or some other local versions of the work, or it could be a global like misinformation um, solution. And I think there could be tons of other ideas, but I would suggest start having an advisor, like talking to an advisor, so that they can guide you to others.
We have also received another question in the chat box by Rajat. What are the things you wish you could have done better when you were an undergrad?
Well, I think more fun. I didn't have I did have a lot of fun when I was there, but I still think that the energy that you have around that age, and the place is so beautiful, like Dulikhill and that area. I still miss it a lot. But in the meantime, I think one thing that probably I wish I could have done was research, which I wasn't able to get any exposure at all for that. So probably, yeah, that could be one thing I could have done.
Another question in the chat box by Obyan Dakal. So we all hear about Mang companies. Can you explain what is it like working in such a big company rather than on startups? And how would you compare them?
Well, unfortunately, I don't have comparison, but at least I think the big companies, they're still like, um, I would say each group in the companies are like startups. Uh, like they have their own like uh, idea or plan, and they try to solve on them. And I think at least one thing that has helped me a lot is the resource that you could use, and usually is pretty good resource in terms of like people you could talk to, or people you could connect to, or people you could ask for help. At least in Meta, I think the company culture is pretty open. I can, for example, see in the code base anyone writes, and then I can learn from it. I think that has probably been probably the uh, biggest learning experience for me. But I don't have a lot of experience on startups, so I can't really tell.
We also have received another question in the chat box. Um, how much should you explore the tech field before sticking to one? Or should we keep changing the tech we work on?
Uh, I think I probably would again my and this is personal, depends on what type of people you are, and there's no right or wrong. For me, I think things change a lot over time, and then learning new things, learning new experience, and evolving to it, I think is something that I enjoy and I keep doing. And not just from a technology perspective, even the role perspective. Like maybe you want to be a tech lead. That's a very different role than like just doing everything on your own. Or maybe you want to be a manager at some point, and that's a very very different role than the tech lead. So I think uh, uh, both from a technology perspective and a career perspective, I think you can, if you are flexible and if you're willing to learn new thing every day, I think that probably helps long term.
We have also received another question in the chat box regarding how QCC or did QCC at all help you gain exposure and ultimately help you in joining Meta? For the audience members who don't know, Mr. Santosh KC was also the president of Kathmandu University Computer Club in the year 2012 to 13.
Uh, Short answer is it helped, uh, and I think uh, things like leadership are very much appreciated here in the US, and I think it's same in the Nepal too. But at least from a career perspective, or from even for like, PhD, masters, or undergrad, I think things like these are very much helpful. And I think, and the reason is not just because you can show it on your resume, but rather the learnings you can have. For example, as a president, uh, we when we were organizing IT Meet, uh, I was able to meet like different types of people from Nepali computer field. Like, for example, I was able, I talked to leaders from CAN who have a very different uh, like incentive, like, because I think their incentive is just to, I would say they're still helping to grow the computer industry, but their main goal is to sell computer like, devices, which is still good because they're still helping with the computer industry. On the other hand, I met industry professionals who had a different goal. Their goal was to, for example, hire the best talent and like and grow their company. Academics who have from different other universities beyond KU, or like the government agencies like NITC, who uh, are in a very different, I would say, like state than the other three that I discussed. So I was able to meet all of them, and I was able to meet the minister, I think, who joined on our program. So all these people, they are from different field, different wavelength, different goals. And then I think learning from them or talking to them, I was able to get a bigger picture of computer science in Nepal. And then so I think that was a pretty good experience for me. I think that has uh, helped me throughout my life. I wouldn't just say the big take, because at the end of the day, you still need to collaborate with people. You need to work with people, and all these people have different backgrounds and they have different stories. So how can you connect and how can you collaborate better? I think that is definitely something KLCCA helped me with.
I think our esteemed guest has answered all the questions that the audience had. Now, for the vote of thanks, I'd like to invite the QCC president, Mr. Nizar Bhutel.
Yeah, thank you, Darshan. As we conclude today's event, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest, Sir Santosh KC, for sharing his remarkable journey and insights into navigating career in top tech companies like Meta. His experience and advice has undoubtedly inspired us and expand our understanding of what it takes to thrive in the tech industry. Special thank you goes out to all our participants. Your enthusiasm and thought-provoking questions made this session truly engaging and valuable. I hope you found this talk as inspiring and enlightening as we did in organizing it. Remember, this is just the beginning. Take the lessons learned today and apply them as you continue on your journey in tech. Also, don't forget to join us for the next talk in our series, where we will be featuring another remarkable a Nepali professional making waves in tech industry. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you in future tech events, as well as IT Meet is coming soon. So to talk about IT Meet, I want to invite IT Meet coordinator Ranjan Lamsal for sharing the information about IT Meet 2024. Ranjan, can you unmute yourself?
Hello everyone. Am I audible?
Yeah, Ranjan, you're audible.
Okay. So, hello everyone. Hello Santosh Dai. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Ranjan Lonsal. I'm currently IT Meet Coordinator for this season 2024. And here we begin our journey from today's session. And I hope it's gonna be really fun. We'll be doing a lot more sessions like this. We'll be having um, various kinds of tech and non-tech competitions. Plus, this year's gonna be really exciting because we have added uh, like other dimension to our IT meet. Usually, we had a single dimension of software competitions, and even now we have added another dimensions, hardware events and competitions. And in addition to that, we have also added some non-technical event, such as uh, TEDx and sports event in this season IT meet. I hope it's going to be exciting and fun. And I hope everyone is going to join us for our future session and competition. So thank you so much everyone for joining, and special thanks to Santosh Dai.
Thank you everyone for having me. Yeah, I wish you all the best. If you need any help or any recommendation, happy to talk in the future too.
Okay, sure.
I think we are almost at the end of the session. If you have anything about the closing remarks, Santosh sir.
No, thanks a lot. I always love talking to people from KU. And yeah, and I have all good, beautiful memories from there. So yeah, enjoy while you can. Uh, and yeah, I wish you all the best. You can reach out to me or other fellow Nepali who are in other technology companies, and usually people are helpful. They try to help fellow Nepali people. So I think you'll find that not just in one company, but multiple other companies. So try to reach out to them, try to learn more, and yeah, I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Santosh sir, for sharing your inspiring journey and valuable insights with us today. And to all our viewers, we hope you enjoyed this session as much as I did. So I'd like to formally end this session now. Thank you so much once again.